Last week I got a phone call from a distraught customer whose computer had gone down and they lost all the files that they had created in Ruby. And I'd asked them, I said, well, how do you not back them up? And they said they didn't know that they had to. So again, I've written about this before. I remember doing an article in the Engravers Journal years ago, just for the same reason that that I had a customer, get in touch with me and their computer went down and they lost all their files and they're wondering if there's some way they can get them back. And typically you can't get them back. I mean, if you haven't made a backup onto a secondary drive, such as like even a USB drive or a like a small SSD type drive, again, then you could have problems. The problem that we have with Ruby is that Ruby is not the same file system setup that you would normally see with a standard program like CorelDRAW or Microsoft Word or something, where we've got folders and we can create files and we can save them in these folders. Ruby, really, everything is saved in the program, and the only way that you can really find things is with the name of the file or with a tag. However, that being said, it's very easy to back up files in Ruby. You just need to know what to do, and again, I strongly tell people that you need to do this. So many times, and I've been there before, where you do something, the hard drive goes down, you make a mistake, and you lose the file, and you're distraught because you've lost. Sometimes, even though you want to go and recreate it, you can't remember what you did. So it's very important, that we create some sort of a quick backup, and it's quite easy to do in Ruby. Again, just have to know how to do it, and I'll just show you how to do it. It's pretty quick. This won't be a long video like one of my normal videos, but it should be fairly quick, and we should get through it, relatively fast, and it's easy. Because there's really only three things that we have to back up. It's designs, it's jobs, and it's the material database. And again, if we keep copies of those three types of items, then it's going to be very easy for us to put things back on there in case the computer goes down or we've got to reload Ruby, or somebody accidentally deletes a file. We have a backup of it. So again, I'm going to go through this. It won't take that long. And hopefully everybody will learn how to do this, and hopefully you'll back up your files and you won't have any issues if something goes wrong, or a hard drive fails or a computer is stolen or whatever. When it comes to backing up, there's three areas in Ruby that we need to create backups for. The first area is the design area, and again, we can see this on the screen right now. The next area would be our jobs, and the third area would be our materials database, which is here. So let's take a look at these three areas and how we back them up. They're all basically the same. There's a little bit of differences in the material database and the design and jobs, but it's fairly straightforward, so it won't take too long to go through this. So I'm going to click on the design area here, and there's a couple of ways we can back up. I can back up an individual file, so I could just come and click on this icon right here, and that creates a single file backup, TLD type file here. I can delete that file if I happen to back it up and then realize I don't want it, or I can actually go to the folder, which is quite nice, click on that, and if I come up to the top here, you can see that I've got my file right here, and then if I want, I can drag that down onto my USB drive. If I'm saving them that way, I could drag them over to a special file. If I was backing up that file to an external hard drive or something like that. So again, you can do something, if you want to do that. That would be an individual file. The other way is if you want, let's just remove that one for now. You can actually click on this rectangle here, and that will select all the files. And again, once they're all selected, when I do the backup will create a zip file of all those files. So now what we've got is we've got however many designs in the design area now are created into one zip file. And this is quite easy because now I can just sort of, take that one file. I could come back in if I want, can go into the design area, into File Manager if I want. And I can, come on here and I could sort of click on that, and I can rename it if I want. Here, and I could call it End Design or End Backup for April 2024. And then I can take that file and I can drag it onto the USB drive right here. So again, that allows me to back up one file or back up all the files. If you have them all selected as I've got here, you can actually go in here and individually unselect certain ones. So again, if you don't want all the files backed up, then you could theoretically just grab the ones that you want, select, and then we can back those up. We can also, if you want, let's undo all these. If you come in and select the first one here, if you hold the Shift key down, then you could have all these ones that are selected, and they'll back up into the zip file. So just remember that anytime you've got a check mark here, that check mark is indicating that those files or that file will be backed up. The next area for backing up is in the job directory. Click on the jobs here, and again, this works exactly the same as the design area. You can come in here, click on this icon here, and that will back up the one file, which in this case is a TLJ file. And again, same functionality here. You can click on the show in folder if I want to come over here and then I want to take that file and I want to drag that file into my USB drive, which I've done here. And again, if I want to delete it, then I can just click on the delete icon. You can also, again, as we did before, you can actually click on the rectangle here. That will select everything here. And if I come in here and I go into the export function, then I'm going to again create another zip file. So again, if you want, you can delete this if you didn't really need it, and if you want, you can go back into the folder here, and if you want, you can actually just need to go out, come back in again, and if you want, you can right click on here and show more options, and then if we want, we can rename the file and we can call it job backup April 2024. And I can take that file and I can drag that and then drop it down on my USB drive, or again, as I mentioned, in a separate folder. If you want, when you're in the jobs, you can actually, again, unselect this. I can select the first one. If I push the Shift key down, I've got these first 7 are selected, and if I want, I can click here and then come down here and click here, and then again, I can just back those up too if I want. So again, you can see that the functionality in the designs area and the jobs area is basically the same. And so you can back up all the files if you want, or you can back up one file, or you can back up, 20% of the files. So you can go through and pick and choose exactly what you want to back up. The third area that we can back up is the material database. So all we need to do is come up to the three dashes here, click on there, and then just come to the material database. Now again, all your materials are listed right here. And again, if we want, we can click on this rectangle icon. That selects everything that we want. Again, we can click on that rectangle again. That deselects everything that we want. We can come down to Yeti mug, for example. I can click on that. And if I want, I can come in here and I can export the selected. And then basically, if I want, I can click on the show folder here. And you'll notice here it says materials. So again, probably when you're backing up the material database, if you're going to do individual ones, it might be advantageous if you're going to keep these separately, is maybe just I'm right-clicking on the icon or on the name in Windows Explorer here. I can go basically to rename, and I can call this Yeti mug. So the nice thing about that is that I do have a backup for that, and again I can drag that over onto my USB drive, and it's going to replace that. And the nice thing about this is that I have a single file for just the Yeti mug saved, and that's also good too, because if you're working with other people, you can actually email the Yeti mug file to them. So again, they can load it on their system if they weren't connected to the machines that you were working on. So that's quite nice there. And again, this is very important, because you never know, somebody could inadvertently change things and then you don't remember what the settings are. So the nice thing about having the backup allows you to easily replace that file very quickly. And again, if I want, I can come in here and I can back up all of them. And now if I back up all of them, so if I say export selected, then basically I don't have a zip file. Basically I have the material database, the TLM file, and again now I've got all my settings are listed in that one file right there. And again, if you want, you can click on here, show in the downloads area. And if I want, I could say, show more options. I can go to rename, and I can call that full material backup. And I could say, April or 2024. So now I've actually got a full backup of it, and then again, that's quite nice, because heaven's sakes, if your computer went down, at least you've got your Trotec information in terms of your material settings backed up. So the nice thing is now, if I do happen to, let's say I happen to, I'm not going to rename it. Come down here, I'm just going to delete that selected one. And if I want, I can come back to the dots here, and then if I want, I can import a file. And here's your file right here. Again, if I come back here just so you can see what it looks like today. So there it is right there. I can double click on that. And you notice that I've got my mark solid is back. So it's quite easy just to sort of bring that file back in again if you want. If I want, I can come in here, I can import a selected file from here. Let's say, for example, that I want to bring all the files back in. I can come back, here's my full material backup right here. I can double click on that. And you can skip your duplicates. You can overwrite all the existing files if you want. You can skip the duplicates, or you can save duplicates as new. So again, I'm going to overwrite existing because basically that I haven't deleted anything and I've just backed it up. So anything that basically I overwrite, it's basically just going to create a backup of everything that I wanted to do. So now that I've done the backups here, I've backed up the material database as an individual file or as a total group. You can see that it's quite easy to back up this section, and if you do have a failure, then you can either bring in just the one setting, or you can bring all the settings in if you want. So I go back to the manage screen, and then I'm back where I need to be. If we want to bring back a design, all we need to do is back up the design job. You'll notice that it's a TLD file. I can come back in here in the folder. You can see the job is right here in the download section. So if I want to bring, if that was say on a USB drive, I could drag that onto a USB drive. I'll place the one in the designation area. I can come in and I can select this and I can delete that. You can see that it's gone. If I want to bring it back, I just click on the import file right here at the top. Go to the USB drive. Here's the file I just backed up. Double click on it. And you notice that the file comes back. So it's quite easy to bring back a design file. The job files are exactly the same. Let's assume that I want to get rid of it, save, I'll back this up. Let's select it. I backed it up. I can go into the folder menu here, the file manager. There, and the job is a TLJ file. I can take that down and load it into the USB drive. Place that file. I can come back in to the job section here. Let's delete that file. And if I want to bring that one back, I just need to come back and click on the import file. On my USB drive. And you notice here that the file is right here. I'll click on it. And there's my file right there that's come back. So quite easy to bring either one of the files back if we've backed them up. So again, if you back up your files and you happen to lose one of them, then it's very easy to go back to the backup file and bring it back in again. The other action in the material database list here is I can actually import from the cloud, and really what it's going to import from the cloud is the database for this particular laser, which in this case is a Speedy 300 80 watt. And if I say import from cloud, then it'll bring in the database for that particular machine that is the default one. So again, if you create your own special settings, then it won't bring that in. It'll only bring in the default one. So again, it's very important that if you're going to save anything, save the custom settings that you make. Okay, because if you lose those and the computer breaks or whatever happens, you got to reinstall everything, then you're going to have an issue getting back those old material settings. Well, there it is. Didn't take that long to do, and it's a good way to see how you back up your design files, your job files, and the material database. These are the three areas in Ruby that need to be backed up so that if there is a failure or something has been overwritten, then it's easy to correct the issue that's happened by either putting your backed up files on there or putting in the backed up material settings. Anyways, have any questions? Feel free to ask.